as I was administering the oath on Raila and gave him the oath he had signed and had commissioned to show to the public and then give a speech, and of course we had a copy of the prepared speech which he refused to read. Joho, Rosa Buyu, and TJ Kajwang were pressurizing me, tagging me, pulling my coat, telling me that I should swear Joe in as Raila's running mate. I felt a bit puzzled because we had not discussed this one with the swearing in team. Raila had not given me instructions to do that, and so I refused. Later on, as I caught up with Raila at his home, because Raila basically spoke and ran off the stage, did not give the youth any directions. He told me that he had not given instructions for me to swear Joe in, and that it would have been a mistake if I had done it. So there again, clearly somebody was trying to set me up.
This business, we have done it together. Every of us has been central in some very substantial part of it. There is a wrong misconception that has been bandied around. You see, the oathing is not Raila's oathing. This needs to be very clear. The oathing belongs to the people of Kenya. It is the people of Kenya who demanded it. Mothers showing up in big rallies and asking Raila to take the Bible. So it is the property of the people of Kenya. Raila was merely responding to a public cry because people needed a de facto system with which they could continue to do their political business. So when you see one of us who was involved in preparations and so on, trying to appropriate it as though it was his own, is belittling the nation. It's really belittling the nation. There was no specific person who can take credit of the swearing in of Raila Odinga. If there is anybody who should take credit, is the people of Kenya, who hounded him all over in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Ukambani, in Western, and lastly in Homa Bay. Those are the people who must take credit because they were making their voices heard. And so, to answer you, each of us participated in a substantive way. We were coordinating, and this is how it came out, including MM.
Then came the big question. Where were the other co-principals, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, and Moses Wetangula?
Raila told Kalonzo and Wetangula and Mudavadi that don't call me, I will call you. And when I'll call you on a Nigerian number. I'll call you on an Nigerian number. And that's what they were expecting.
We assembled in the home of one of them to wait for the mysterious call. And when it comes not from a Nigerian number, but from the regular Raila Odinga number. And it is calling not their secret numbers, it's calling Musalia Mudavadi's number.
At that critical moment, I was with this gentleman. I had gotten that close to them. I think Raila owes them an apology.
He remained in constant communication with his colleagues, even on the morning of 30th January, even as late as 1 p.m. On the 30th of January, he was still in communication with them. So there was no single time that communication was lost between the principals in the coalition. And I speak with a lot of authority on that because I was in constant communication with the majority of them, including the people's president himself. In the morning, I did an interview with radio stations, including Radio Maisha, on 30th January, to provide our events for the day, an update on our events for the day. After which I joined my colleagues in our command center on Riverside, from where we continued to fine-tune our program until the time we went to Uhuru Park at 2 p.m.
Raila gave us a Nigerian number and said, this is the number on which I'll be communicating. And he told us, wait there, I'll call you. We waited, and at some point, we saw him entering Uhuru Park.
They think that you are waiting for a call from Raila or from whoever it was coming from. It's neither here or there, because you can imagine when everybody is listening to your phone calls, they know that Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi and Weta, they know their telephone numbers. They know everything. They are just trailing them. And you are calling yourself and say you are converging here, and then we drive to Uhuru Park. That could not have worked. The least they could have done, you see, most of us were stationed somewhere, and we had our indicators on the ground. How is it? What is happening? And then they'll tell us, come. And then we drive in, because we knew by us arriving there, the Prime Minister is arriving in the next minute. And for sure, the moment we arrived, Raila drove in, he went to the podium, took the Bible, he was sworn in very quickly and whisked away.
He did not need to give us a brief. All of us were in the know as to what was happening. And what happened, where everyone else was, history will record that in the fullness of time.
When Raila was sworn in, the government actually realized that things are serious. And also the international community realized that they must arrest the situation in Kenya. Otherwise, things were going to blow out of proportion and the country will have burned. So swearing in had got its own positive indicators that forced the government to now take the opposition very seriously.
As a consequence of the Odinga oathing, George Aladwa, Miguna and TJ Kajwang were arrested. As for Aladwa, no charges were preferred against him. Kajwang has an active case, while Miguna was dramatically deported to Canada in total defiance of the court order which nullified the deportation order by Interior CS Fred Matiang'i.
I'm not going anywhere.
Duncan Hemba for the Untold story.